Shabbat Shalom, Lab Shul. For those of you who I have not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Sarah Sokolic. I'm one of the Lab Shul's co-founders and our executive director. Shabbat Shalom, thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing in 2025 with Lab Shul. So whether this is your 100th time or your first time with Lab Shul, and actually before I get there, can I see a show of hands of first-timers? First-timers at Lab Shul, a lot. And by the way, there's a lot of first-timers at every Lab Shul Friday night, so welcome. Thank you for being here. Whether you are Jewish or Jewish or Jew adjacent or Jew curious, this is what we like to say, right? We do this. Whether you were dragged here, whether you saw the Sabbath Queen film or you went to someone's bar mitzvah, welcome. You belong. Many of you know, and many of you may not know, that Lab Shul's origin story was as a little theater company, a little ritual theater company called Storytelling. It started back in the late 90s. And the mission of Storytelling, our core work, was to translate and reinterpret Torah texts, our inherited ancient stories, for modern audiences, to be a conversation, to be relevant and modern for today's times. Today, the storytelling methodology is at the core of everything we do at Lab Shul. So we not only reinterpret text, which you may have seen like in words like Havaya and Ruach HaOlam, for those of you who are familiar with the traditional male-centric sort of patriarchal language. We reinterpret, retranslate not only words and liturgy, but our traditions and the ancient stories, and we make them relevant for today. And we expand upon those, and we make them useful as in our Jewish toolbox. That's what we're doing here. But I thought today I'd go back to my storytelling roots. I was a wee storyteller back in the early 2000s, learning this methodology and learning how to take ownership of our text, something I had not been taught in my many, many years of Jewish education. And I learned about a character in this week's Torah portion, Vayishlach. Vayishlach meaning, I want to get this right because I wrote it down, and he approached. Vayishlach, and he approached. The he in the story refers to Judah, who approaches his brother, Joseph, who is now kind of a senior person in Egypt, to ask for release of their mutual brother, Benjamin. It's a long story. I'm not going to tell you the whole thing. It's a long story. It's extremely dramatic. You can go ask Andrew Lloyd Webber or see the Broadway show. What I'm interested in this week's Parsha is an extraordinary character named Serach, the daughter of Asher and the granddaughter of Jacob. Though she is only named in the Torah twice, which is a lot for a woman in biblical times, rabbinic tradition gifts us her legend. Serach, as it is said, sang to Jacob gently during the reveal that that his beloved son, that Benjamin, had actually been alive. This was shocking news to the elderly Jacob, and Serach was there, his grandniece, to sing to him and play her harp. We only know this from the rabbinic interpretation. But she softened the blow of the truth. The shock might have killed him. And it transformed sorrow into hope and prepared Jacob to embrace a future he could not have fathomed. The sages tell us that Serach's life expanded actually over 200 years, and that she was an important player in many of the biblical stories that none of us learned in Hebrew school. And in fact, it is taught that she went to paradise, meaning the world beyond, alive. One of the very few, maybe only, I'm not exactly sure, but actually transversed the worlds and the realms of existence. And so I am totally hooked on Sarah. I love her and I cannot get enough of her, and I only learned about her in my years as a storyteller. So I've been learning about her for a long time. And her story is this week's Parsha, and I have to believe that it's divine intervention and not a coincidence that we're bringing in the first Shabbat of 2025 with her story. Because we are living in dark and divided times. We are living in a world where we know, and we also don't know what the next presidency is going to bring. We are living in a time where we're still living the shocks and the aftershocks of what is happening in the Middle East and all over the world. And the kind of unbelievable but kind of believable fact that there are like sentient orbs and like drones flying over us that are like, what are they called? I wrote them down. Unidentified aerial phenomena filling our skies. I'm obsessed with it. But we're living in this time, like things are crazy. We're living in a crazy time. And Sarah reminds us that even when we are nameless, and our story is not told as part of the grand story, that our narrative is about quiet actions that make a difference. Our narrative is about what we do that ripples out beyond the world that we live in. And we are prepared because of Sarah for the challenges that we don't yet even understand. So Sarah's legacy whispers a profound truth to us tonight in the face of the unknown, that not only does our name ring loud because of our actions, but that we can sing. And that we can sing with an unwavering belief that our singing brings a better future. That's what we did tonight. That's what we do every first Friday here at Judson Memorial Church. And we do all the time with the support of our modern day Sarahs, my beloved colleagues. These are my siblings, my coworkers, my partners in this work. And I'm so proud to introduce Naomi Les and Ben Freeman and Shira Klein and Shir Zettiman. And I have so much gratitude. They brought me to tears during the sound check. And I don't know exactly what those tears were about, but it kind of doesn't matter.